I have a couple of articles here I want to go over, and this is just horrifying. It's going to go over some of the conditions inside of Alligator Alcatraz. And what we're reading here, this sounds like it's coming from a facility that hasn't been cared for and has been opened for like 100 plus years. And it's been like a week since it's been built, and like less than a week since we've actually opened it up to housing migrants there. And just wait. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. The conditions they're already facing within a week. And this is when, during the period where you would think they would be, the government that is, on their best behavior, keeping things like top of the line, looking good for the public, because right now it has the most public attention. Because, in 2 days, something else atrocious is going to happen, and we're going to forget all about this, because that's just what this administration does. They do a million bad things a week, a million bad things a day, and the news cycle just can't keep up. So while the eyes are shortly focused on Alligator Alcatraz, you'd think this would be like, there wouldn't be so much stuff coming out already. Okay, I digress. Anyways, giant bugs, heat, and a hospital visit inside Alligator Alcatraz's first days. The call from Alligator Alcatraz's first detainees brought distressing news. Toilets that didn't flush, temperatures that went from freezing to sweltering, a hospital visit, giant bugs, and little or no access to showers or toothbrushes, much less confidential calls with attorneys. The story is relayed to the Miami Herald by the wives of detainees housed in this, we're just going to call it what it is, a concentration camp. So they've been accepting, since July 2nd. So it's been about a week as of recording this that they've started accepting people, and we're already getting some insane shit coming out of there. Why would we treat a human like that? A woman whose Venezuelan husband is housed in Alligator Alcatraz told the Miami Herald. They came here for a better life. I don't understand. We are supposed to be the greatest nation under God, but we forget that we are under God. I always like to go back to this, but if Jesus were alive today, and of course, Christians somehow don't know this, but Jesus, he was a very altruistic person. He would have been a democratic socialist if he were alive today. He would look at the Republican Party and be like, what the fuck is going on here? He would probably deem you all as sinners in an instant because of just how sick and cruel you are. Anyways, I digress. Just a little quote I wanted to share there. It is true. Like, majority of these people are coming here to live a better life in what is supposed to be the greatest nation under God on earth. And this is how we treat them. A nation that, for all of its faults, was always open to immigration and asylum seekers and just people looking to live that American dream. And a lot of this country, most of this country, well, actually, what am I saying? Most. This entire country was built on immigration, and it continues to function off the backs, to a certain degree, off of immigration. And that role is going to become more and more important as we go into the future here, because as birth rates decline around the world, I always go back to this, we are in a gifted position as the United States. A lot of countries, either for just long-standing historical reasons or just their geography, don't get immigrants. So they're just having a declining birth rate, a declining population, which is going to be disastrous in the long term if not addressed. We have declining birth rates as well, but the thing is, we kind of had immigrants to kind of even it out and keep us trending in the right way. But that's all going to be thrown out the window. Like, no matter how you look at this mass deportation thing, I just can't see a single benefit, except for satiating the weird ass fantasies of these xenophobic fucking monsters. Anyways, I digress. I keep going off on tangents. I'm sorry. Bugs and environmental factors are minimized in the facility. Restraints are only utilized during transport outside of the detention centers, and visitation arrangements can be made upon request. That was per Stephanie Hartman, a spokeswoman for the State Division of Emergency Management, the state agency overseeing the facility's operations. All plumbing systems are working and operational. Yeah, all this entire paragraph, it's going to age like milk, like spoiled rotten milk. So detainees are telling their families a different story. A detainee had suffered a medical emergency outside of the detention center. Betty Oskella of the, oh God, I'm okay. I'm not even going to try to pronounce these Native American tribes. Okay, I'll try. Mikosuki. Is that right? Am I close? Anyways, so this woman saw an ambulance leave the facility around 2 p.m. So there were several eyewitness accounts. And Florida, the HCA Florida actually confirmed that a detainee from Alligator Alcatraz had arrived at its Kendall Hospital for care on Monday. And then you can see we can confirm. However, this is where it's like, okay, you're already being sketchy as fuck. Why are you trying to lie about this already when it's been verified by the fucking vice president of the HCA Florida and by several eyewitnesses, and you're already coming out and trying to lie? State officials, however, denied there had been a medical emergency on site. A spokesperson for Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer told the Herald it was fake news. After this article first published online, a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security acknowledged on social media site X that the detainee had been sent to the hospital, but said he wasn't admitted and he was returned to the detention center in an hour and a half. Okay. So, regardless, there was some form of medical emergency that required for this person to go to the hospital. And and Florida officials deny it. They deny it instantly. That just shows you what their like primal reaction is, to just lie. Lie, fake news, woke fake news, lie. Why are you lying about this? And you're already lying about something as small as this? What else are they going to lie about? So, more specifically, of the conditions inside Alligator Alcatraz. While the state says the stories detainees are sharing with the Herald are false, various scenarios described by 3 women in separate interviews are matching up. Their husbands were unable to shower for several days after arriving. 2 women said their husbands complained that initially there was no water to flush the toilets. All 3 detainees told their wives that the bugs were getting inside, one of them saying that grasshoppers the size of his hand were springing into the tent and that the biggest mosquitoes he had ever seen were flying over them in their cells. A 4th detainee told CBS News and other local media outlets that the lights are on inside the facility 24 hours a day. And that was backed up by another Venezuelan detainee's wife, who obviously got the same information from her husband that is housed inside there. 24-hour lights a day. Okay, that, just look up what that does to people. And this is basically sleep deprivation, light sleep deprivation, by just blasting lights on these people 24 hours a day. Inside the facility, detainees say there are no clocks and there is scant sunlight coming through the heavy-duty tents, making it difficult for them to know whether it is day or night. A Guatemalan detainee told his wife that he was unable to sleep on Monday night due to how cold it was inside the tent. By Tuesday afternoon, the same man told his wife that it appeared the air conditioner had stopped working and it was really hot inside. So congrats, your AC system is already failing. It's been a week. It's been a week. And don't forget, the day before they started bringing detainees here, there was flooding from a mild storm. Wait till a hurricane hits. People are going to die. And they're selling merch and fundraising off this shit. Oh my God. Okay. So before we go down to trouble finding their loved ones, I want to jump over to this Latin Times article where, so they also, from reports, lack of water to bathe. And this is a good one, a great one. He went on to say that they only brought a meal once a day and it had maggots. Other detainees told the outlet that their human rights are not being respected, with one saying, "We're like rats in an experiment. I don't know their motive for doing this. If it's a form of torture, a lot of us have our residency documents. A lot of us have our residency documents, and we don't understand why we're here." Nice. A Colombian detainee said he is on the brink of mental collapse. I've gone 3 days without taking my medicine. He added that his Bible was taken after being told there was no right to religion, and my Bible is the one thing that keeps my faith, and I'm now losing my faith. Insane. Like, it's been a week. It's been a week, and we have flooding, air conditioning systems failing, plumbing systems failing, food with maggots in it, although that part's probably just straight intentional. Trouble finding their loved ones. Since inviting some members of the press to tour the site prior to the arrival of the first detainees, the state had blocked Escamani and other lawmakers from entering, ignored the Herald's request to visit the site, and left family members, at least one attorney, guessing about how to get in touch with their loved ones and clients. Katie Blankenship, an attorney and co-founder of Sanctuary of the South, a legal services network, said Tuesday she has been unable to get in touch with a new client whose wife called last week, saying her husband was being transferred to Alligator Alcatraz from the Chrome Immigration Detention Center in Miami-Dade County. I think it's a gross violation of due process to put people literally in this black hole where they cannot be found. Blankenship said in an interview they cannot speak with counsel, they cannot contact immigration court, they are just, all for intents and purposes, disappeared. When detainees call their loved ones, their conversations are recorded. That's expected. I'm not going to make a big deal about that. That's just basic in our prison system as a whole. But the part on top of that is the state has yet to provide them a way for them to call their legal counsel through a secure line, said one of the women interviewed by the Herald. Now that is a big legal violation. Insane. And remember, I can't stress this enough. It's been 1 week. It's been 1 week. They're only getting started, and it's not like it's going to get better. It's going to get much, much worse. Like, again, just call it what it is. This is a concentration camp, and just like everything that the Trump administration does, they're moving fast the whole time, but there's degrees to the levels that they do things, and this is just going to they're going to keep turning up the temperature very slowly on what's going on at this Alligator Alcatraz. Like, insane. And remember, this is supposed to be like a $400-500 million facility. The funds that came directly from FEMA. Does this look like a $400 to $500 million facility? Does this sound like one? It's just a bunch of fucking tents with broken AC and plumbing. And again, as we kind of touched on in that article, the people who are being sent here, they aren't violent criminals. And most of them aren't even criminals. These are people who previously had TPS status, temporary protected status, a legal way to be here. And, you know, we've covered it the past few weeks. Trump has attempted to revoke TPS status for 500,000 Haitians. We just covered about like 80,000, I want to say, Nicaraguans. And like, these were people who came here legally. And now if they don't self-deport within a month or whatever, they're going to be rounded up and brought here. People who are here on some form of legal status, people with some sort of valid work permit to be here, are being rounded up. There are people who are going through the legal process to be here. We all know that they're arresting people outside of immigration courthouses, people showing up to their hearings, going through the legal process. These people are also being rounded up and sent to these detention camps. Permanent green card holders, they could be held here. Like for the situations like Mohammed Ali, Mahmoud Khalil, they could, you say something bad about Israel, something pro-Palestine, say, hey, I don't like that Israel is committing a genocide and we're funding it with our tax dollars. Well, we're gonna send you to this detention center and you're gonna wait there while we revoke your green card status, because fuck you and fuck free speech. Like, and then of course you have just the normal undocumented immigrants, who majority are actually not criminals, and most likely were just abducted from a construction site or from a fucking farm field. This is where we're at. These people, I can't make it clear enough that the people going through these conditions, majority of them, no criminal record whatsoever. Probably at least half of them, some form of, if not more, probably most of them have some form of legal status, or we're going through the process of getting legal status. Insane. I don't know how you can support this. It's crazy. People are buying the merch, and it's just sick. it's just sick. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.